Next up, we have Anna Bogger, President and CEO of Out of Home Advertising Association of America. She recently joined in September of 2019 to spearhead the transformation. Anna was named one of the 30 most powerful women in mobile advertising by Business Insider 6 years in a row, and the awards go on and on. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anna, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Gary?
I'm well. So, let's just get right into the meat of the conversation since we have such little time. How do you process the question, where is the consumer's attention right now? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not kidding, but I actually firmly believe that the attention is outdoor, of course, out of home. I do think that, we just recently did a survey with Harris Poll looking at consumer change and behavior since the pandemic. And I do think that consumers appreciate more than ever being outside, being out of their homes, being out and about. And that survey kind of firmly showed that 70% of Americans say that they appreciate the outdoor space much more now than they did before. And that they really appreciate messages out of home and just seeing things that seem familiar to the way the world was before. So I actually think consumer attention is there. I think people have some...
Real quick, I apologize. Because I think that's interesting. So I get the idea of like backyard, go hiking, take a run on the street. Am I incorrect? This is a question. Am I incorrect in thinking that most of the billboards or the out of home advertising is predicated a little bit more around transportation infrastructure, that on the highways or the roads or the subways, the thought of going outside for sure, but those individuals that are doing those activities, what's their likelihood of coming across a billboard and then being in the framework of consumption since they'll be on their feet, let's say, instead of a vehicle?
Well, I mean, they may not be in the woods, even though, there's signs everywhere.
Of course.
Actually in the woods too. Anything can be a sign, right? But no, I think you're right. I think we've changed our behavior. I think most consumers are probably not traveling as far. Transit's still a category of out of home that has not as much travelers, even though, the New York Transit has about 2 million people coming through it every day. So we're back to quite high levels still. But, people do take the car to go shopping or to go small errands. There's signage, there's bus shelters, there's local signs, it's out of home. It's not just about roadside. It's so much more than just that. But yes.
What I'm trying to figure out based on the report you were just talking about is the connection between, hey, I want to be out more because I've been stuck in my home, and the appreciation for outdoor advertising. What's the link there, I guess?
I think that there is a link, again, just being out and about and seeing signs, not signs as the actual signage, but signs in society that things are kind of the way they were before. We saw in this survey that more than half of the consumers overall say that they notice outdoor advertising more now than they did in the past. And in urban areas, 69%, I think it was, or around 70 said that they notice it more. So I think it's a sense of familiarity and things being back to normal again. Physical ads, resonate more, I think, than digital.
Physical more than digital.
Well, not as digital within media or within content, right?
Right, but which is interesting because the industry, correct me if I'm wrong here, the digitalization of outdoor is upon us. So if there's a subtle movement that's an interesting juxtaposition for the industry. I'm sure they're trying to debate through, right?
Well, but that's a difference between digital advertising and media, right? Our signs are digital, which makes them much more nimble and in many ways more flexible, but they're still out in the physical. Outdoor is about being in a location where consumers are for a number of different reasons, using triggers, that happens in that location, whether it's current events or weather or whatever it is, to serve an ad faster, better. So digital is actually helping our medium a lot. I'm talking more about ads that are out in the spaces that consumers want to be in right now, which is not necessarily in their home.
Understood. What is the reality of the digitization of outdoor billboards? It was a tough one. Is billboard owners, are they gravitating quickly to that because of the flexibility and the targetability, or is the old guard still holding firm and not wanting to go that route? What's kind of the state of the union, just out of my own curiosity?
I would say, first of all, out of home is about so much more than just billboards. I just want to clarify that. It's signage everywhere. It's place-based, you know, it's billboards, it's transit, it's airport, it's all those things. Street furniture. No, I think the whole industry has pivoted to more and more digital, and the pandemic has certainly helped with that. Again, you know, the need for more flexibility and nimbleness that advertisers, you know, really are looking for now has speeded up that evolution in our industry. And I think that's a really positive thing. So we're moving in that direction very fast.
And what about, to your point, expanding outside of, you know, and I appreciate you correcting me a couple of times because I think that's where my mind defaults. The fact that it has so much breadth than just the classic billboard on the highway. Where is the most interesting innovation around consumer attention, in your opinion, of, you know, the outdoor movement? What's kind of like, if we're putting a billboard or a bus stop ad or a bench or in the subway on the shelf over here as things we've known, what is the biggest innovations that you're seeing?
Well, the area that I'm most interested in, and that's actually not something that works so well on billboards, at least not on the highway, but it's around video, right? Our medium lends itself with these really rich screens that are in very great locations where consumers sometimes are just standing waiting for things, right? Like the bus stop or walking around in the city. The fact that our medium can not just provide rich media advertising, but actually also content, right? That brands can, you know, produce content that follows a consumer around, you know, build really interesting stories. I think that that's the most interesting thing or one of the most interesting things that are happening in our medium right now, and an area of, you know, really high growth.
Are there real estate owners that are really innovating? Are you having people that are reaching out to you that are trying to convert their physical into advertising mediums? Are you hearing from state parks, from people that own trees? I'm trying to really take this.
Yeah, I mean, out of home is very much about real estate. That's something that I had to learn. You know, I've just been in this job for 1 year, and it's a big, big part of the medium. It is about finding that right location, and these real estate owners, right, or advertising companies, they're specialists in finding the right location and doing something interesting with it. And if they have one, they know about it. If they don't know about it, somebody else will come and ask them for it. So there's definitely a lot of real estate owners that are interested in this. And it's a way to monetize a building that you have, and it doesn't have to be digital. I mean, another really interesting area of out of home is just utilizing wall sides, wallscapes to create really, really beautiful, you know, murals and paintings and things like that. Anything you have that's in a good location can really be used for advertising. You know, it's in a good way. Of course, there are kind of laws that uphold how you do it.
We can't digitize everything.
Yeah.
On that front, you said something there that struck me. I was just generally curious because attention comes in a lot of ways, and attention for a lot of people is maybe career changes. You said you've only been there for a year. What were you doing prior, and what was the thing that kind of tipped you over and said, heck, I need to be the president and CEO of this organization?
Well, you know, it was really, really good timing for me, actually. The job sort of was on the market and I was contacted about it. I had spent almost 10 years at the IB, building the mobile video and data operations there. And I really like building and growing things. I'm a salesperson, right? And my first 7 years at the IB was all about that. Then it became very much about protecting and safeguarding the medium and you know, explaining why the medium had value and worth. Out of home, you know, is a medium where you can't block, you can't skip, you really kind of, the ad is always going to be there for the consumer to see. The experience for the consumer is great. The medium had experienced really massive growth of the past 10 years. So, and that was sort of now moving into the digital world.
Is this the enemy to the medium?
No, that's the best friend of the medium. The combination of mobile out of home is incredibly strong.
But
so that
you would agree with me that I actually want to break that down because I'm very fascinated by that, because I think about people in the subway not seeing the stop ads, or even within the subway, because like there's a lot of this going on. So how does the industry quantify or think about it being the best friend? Explain that point.
Well, there's a combination, right? First of all, there's geofencing, and you know, you can sort of tie the mobile to the ads in a very effective way. But honestly, first of all, out of home is very much about landmarks, right? So consumers will see it. What you may think out of home may not be what I think of out of home. Like there are places that doesn't even look like an ad where consumers want to share, so it's a strong connection to social media. So the big screen will drive to the small screen, but the other way around too. And Subway is an interesting example. Static Subway ads, out of home ads, about 70% of the viewers that see them actually then go and search for that product on their phone. So it's the combination of having something in your hand when you're out and about that can make you connect to the brand.
To act on it.
Yeah. So it's very important. Then of course, there's ways of targeting and tracking and things like that comes into that as well. So no, I would really call it the best friend. And that's really where my interest sparked too, early days of the IB.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.